Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in again. Today's video is part 2 of my financial maths that everyone should know series, and I'll be building upon the principle of compound interest. So if you haven't seen the first video, click up here somewhere and watch that one and then come back to this one. Right, now that you're well versed on compound interest, let's dive into today's video, which is all about the present value of money. But what exactly do we mean by the present value of money?
After all, a pound today is worth a pound, right?
That's exactly right, but we also know that due to factors such as inflation, a pound won't be worth the same in a year, in 5 years, or in 10 years' time. I mean, just look at the iconic chocolatey frog treat that everyone loves, which in my opinion should definitely be used as an official measure of inflation, the FPI, the Freddo Price Index. When I was a kid, I was able to go into a shop with a pound and buy 10 Freddos because they were 10p each. Today, I'd be lucky to get 4 with the same £1. So what exactly are we trying to accomplish here? The aim of working out the present value is to be able to determine what you should pay today for something you'll receive in the future. In property or general investment terms, it's usually to answer questions such as, how much should I pay today to be able to receive an asset in the future, be that a property, an expensive item, or just a big lump sum of cash. Let's go through an example. Let's say you're offered a fantastic investment opportunity where you can receive £100 in 3 years' time, but you're not sure how much to invest today to make it worth your while, because logically, you're not going to invest £100 to get £100 back in 3 years' time. That's just silly. You need a plan. So you contact your buddy, Raf from RW Property, who says he will help you and give you the formula to work it out if you hit that like button and subscribe button, which of course you do without hesitation because it's the best trade ever. You write down the formula, which is 1 over 1 plus I to the power of n. I represents the interest rate and n represents the number of years you need to wait before you get the money. Those are the only two things you need to know. And if you haven't yet realized, the bottom bit of the equation is just the compound interest formula that you learned from the previous video. If you think about it, all we're essentially doing is doing the reverse of a compound interest calculation. So all we need to do is work out the compounding number and then take 1 and divide it by that number to get a discounting factor. Let's do it together. First, we need our two inputs, I and n. We know n because we know we need to wait 3 years before we get the £100, so n equals 3. I wasn't mentioned earlier because you can actually set that to what return you want from your money. For this example, let's say you want a 10% return, so I is 0.1. Remember, the interest rate has to be represented as a decimal. Now let's plug it all into our fantastic equation that we wrote down earlier. Let's deal with the bottom half of the equation first to make it easier. We have 1 plus 0.1, which equals 1.1. 1.1 to the power of 3. If we plug that into the calculator, we get 1.331. So now the formula looks like this. 1 divided by 1.331. And if we put that into a calculator, we get a figure of 0.7513. Pro tip, if you're calculating present values and your multiplier is higher than 1, you've done something wrong. Remember, it should always be less than 1. Like with compound interest, we now need to multiply that number by the end result, which is the £100. So £100 multiplied by 0.7513 equals £75.13. And that's what you need to invest today to get £100 after 3 years with a 10% yearly return. Or in other words, the present value of £100 deferred at a rate of 10% in 3 years' time is £75.13.
See, it wasn't that scary, was it?
And that summarizes the present value and is actually the first applicable financial maths equation you can use in the real world. Lots of complicated areas of property valuation use this, as well as stock analysts, actuaries, financial risk analysts, and many, many more professions. So definitely practice this and get used to it. It may just come in handy one day. I hope that you enjoyed the video and of course learned something new. If you have, give the video a thumbs up and definitely consider subscribing to keep up to date with my new content. As always, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys at my next video.